Yeah, fighters, what's going on, everybody? So, this episode not only brought to you on the podcast side of things, but also on the YouTube channel. So, you can see a visual here. Changing up a little bit. I'm coming to you from my living room instead of our typical recording spot, whether at the gym or in my garage / studio setup that's being built out right now. If you guys are watching on the video, you're going to see some adorable pictures of Lena and Tessa. I love to highlight those whenever I can, so don't mind me getting a little shameless family plug. In this episode, I wanted to talk to you guys about the 3 pillars of Life of a Fighter. And before I do, this episode and every episode is brought to you by the Life of a Fighter shop. You can go to lifeofafighter.com/shop, check out all the amazing products and services we have. And I'm really excited because I'm actually taking all of August with my team to build out a brand new 28-day fitness course. Instead of just having it be our ebook, we're going to be turning it into an entire course with modules, a little bit more tutorial breakdown, podcast, videos that cover it, and even more in-depth look and kind of break it out into more digestible chunks. I think the ebook's great and we've gotten great feedback around our 6th revision, but I think this is a way to leverage it and just deliver it to you guys in an even better way. We're going to be doing the same thing with our fitness and nutrition vault membership, delivering the content in a way that's way easier to access, digest, and just map it out, which I'm really excited about. Even the Pro Coach plan, we're going to ramp all this stuff up. And then I have some really exciting partnerships with Coach Eric Uresk about a project we're putting together for the MMA combative coaches and athletes out there. We're going to be applying this concept across the board with some other great partnerships and coaches. And we still have our What's Your Fight kind of talk show podcast going on with Fight Light right now. So you'll see another episode coming out with that shortly. I'm really excited with all the stuff we're cranking out, y'all. So I just appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much. So 3 pillars for the Life of a Fighter is really what I built this company on. And when I originally started the company, I kind of started it backwards, honestly. Like what you do most of the time when you look at the textbooks of how companies are supposed to work and how you're supposed to build them is you have a mission statement, and you have a business plan, and you kind of create an entire entity and an execution based off of that. You figure out your market, your niche, profitability. What are you going to create? What are you going to do? What are you going to offer? How's that going to be profitable? I kind of went backwards and just created a company because I wanted to have it as a tax incentive based on what my parents' inputs were. And then I had to actually recreate once I started shifting from being a sponsored athlete solely to actually a business owner and running it like a business. I had to really build that mission statement. And the 3 things, the 3 pillars I built it on that I've constantly talked about throughout the years, they've been the same pretty much since 2011. We've just adapted them in different ways and applied them in different ways. The first one's educate. Second one's inspire, and the third one is improve. And I'm going to break each one of those down for you a little bit at a time. So the first one, educate. And this is what, again, I want to invest in how we deliver our 28-day course and our fitness and nutrition membership, and even the content that you're watching or hearing and digesting right now, how we deliver it, making it as accessible as possible, but valuable as possible. So by educating you, not just on, hey, you should go do this, but hey, this is why we're doing this. It's the why behind the what. And I always want to break that down for you guys. So sometimes if I go off on the tangents, it's important because I want you to understand the why. And if you're like, hey, Mike, I don't have time for that, cool. Maybe right now is not the time. But that's what I'm even excited about for our fitness course, for our fitness and nutrition membership, the way we're going to present all this information. Now, it's going to be when you do have the time and you want to digest that information, it's way easier to access, even getting started. Like this is some feedback we've gotten from those that maybe you are newly signed up, or you've tried to sign up in the past and you had a challenge and we didn't have the best streamlined process. And we're just trying to constantly improve it. Because I think hands down, myself and our team have created the best program and the best coaching and the best services and the best kind of information that we can put out there in the planning possible between myself and the entire network that I have and have built. But maybe our delivery system is where we could have improved the most. And that's why I've really taken the energy and the feedback and the beta testing and really ramped that up. So you're going to see a big overhaul in the coming months, which I just appreciate you guys hanging in there with. And then the next one, got to educate down. So we understand, hey, we're going to have this information. You're going to take this. So it becomes, and you hear me talk a lot about sustainable. And I think sustainable choices are based off of not just habits that we build, but understanding why these are the habits that we want to build. And I talked to one of my other buddies and clients about this idea of like, it's just a principle, how you live your life. For example, you're not a murderer. Let's say like, you're not going to murder anybody. And I know this is an extreme example, but it's the principle of it's the same. So what I mean by this is if you don't commit murder, right? You're not gonna rob people. Let's just say there's certain moral things you're not going to do. That's how you operate your life. Cool. We could take that same approach to health and fitness that align with your goals and the kind of person that you are, and even how you handle business or how you parent or how you interact with family members. I don't do this. I'm not a liar, or again, I don't steal. Or for example, I don't eat at 2 a.m. because it's a bad idea. And I'm not saying I don't. I've definitely eaten at 2 a.m. and I still do at certain times, but I try and plan for it. Or I'm trying to think of a good one here. Let's just say I don't drink soda. That's one thing I definitely don't do. I haven't drank soda or Coke or any variation of that in 5 years, maybe 10 years. I don't know, maybe longer. I don't even know. But just little things like that. Find some of the basic principles. And I think that's part of the education process. Once we have that piece to the education process of what's sustainable and understanding the why behind it and how we build that structure behind it, it's then saying, okay, so we have the education, we then need some inspiration to be able to take action, because all this information, all this knowledge will be for nothing if we don't take action on it. We don't actually be able to implement it. And I even, I was talking to a colleague and actually a coach that I get to work with, someone that actually started as a client of mine and as a mentee of mine that's now becoming into a coach and a business owner and, a peer, and it's awesome to see this, is information versus implementation. Looking at, we have access to all this information, like you listening right now are hearing this because you have access to information. So that means that you have access to all the information I've put out, all the information that some of the best coaches in the world have put out, mostly for free. And there's obviously paid things that you can do, from the coaching to the resources, but there's a lot of free stuff. Even Harvard and Stanford, they put out great, amazing free information. But it's more about implementing that information into your life. And what does that look like? And that's where I think myself as a coach and all of our team of coaches come into play in any successful program, is taking the information that you have and teaching you how to implement it, not just for the direct information you have, but even looking ahead to future information and future problem solving. And that's why I think it also kind of dives into like a deeper mission statement of mine of changing the world with like education in our youth, because teaching them how to problem solve in a different way, teaching us how to look at an issue. Even if I don't know what the information of it is yet, I can find that information, but I can look at the structure and how to implement it. And that's what's going to make me successful in almost anything that we do. So that's the kind of inspiration dynamic of getting some motivation behind you to be able to take action, whether it's hearing my story, whether it's hearing another one of our coaches' stories, whether it's hearing another one of the clients that I've worked with or my team has worked with, or any kind of inspiration we can share that's either personal within house we've created or just something I find valuable that I think will inspire you. That's what we want to be able to put out there. Also from our content, but even just in the message that we create and the ads that we create in the social media that we create, everything that we do, want to inspire people. And that's why I'm really big on, anyone that knows me firsthand has seen me, whether it's in my classes, with our one-on-one sessions, virtually, even any of the coaching, I'm a high fiver, I'm a high energy person. It comes at a cost, honestly, guys. There's sometimes right now it's almost 10 o'clock at night. I'm tired, but I'm here. And I'm still getting re-energized by wanting to share this message with you guys. So I think being able to have that inspiration and have it be again, almost I call it the rub. Don't get creepy on me, y'all. Hang in there. The rub in the sense of when you meet a famous person, I make this equation in the fight world. When I first went to Vegas and I trained with Randy Couture and all these great people, and Robert Drysdale and Forrest Griffin and Frank Mir and Jake Shields, and the list goes on, and Tyson Griffin, and keeps going. Jay Huron, all these, you kind of level yourself up and you have this confidence in yourself, and it impacts you and it changes how you make these decisions. And I think by hearing or being around people that are inspiring, you get that rub. So even the energy that I try and bring to the table, I try and create that dynamic of, hey, you might have had a shitty day, but you're stepping into the gym, or you're hopping on the phone with me, or you're now reading my message, or you're listening to a podcast, watching a video, whatever that is. I want it to have a positive impact. I'm going to smile. I'm going to make eye contact. I'm going to air high five, or I'm going to actually high five, make contact. Human contact's a big component to just helping in that sense. That's why I think jiu-jitsu is such a great thing. Even striking and Muay Thai, because you have that clinch work, is an important factor. That's into the woods a little bit, and I apologize all. So that's the second piece, inspiration. The third, I think this is probably the most important, is improve. Because if we are educating you with the right information, if you're implementing in your life and you're still not seeing results, I failed you as your coach, our team failed you as our coach, or whatever we're doing, we just didn't do the right thing. So if we're not seeing the results, everything else is for nothing. Because if you take all the steps and you don't get the results, Why are you going to keep repeating it? It doesn't make sense. You're not, whether it's because you're investing resources financially or time or whatever variable, why would you keep doing that? Or it's just not helping you get to where you want to be. So that's kind of the most important piece to me is I don't want to say it's all about the scale per se, because I don't think it's just about what the scale says, but finding results and ways to improve your life, because improvement can look different to different people. And looking at your goal, like anyone that's talked to me, I'll ask you this question, and I always break it down in this analogy of like, if you're going to use a GPS system, you have a starting point and you have an end point, and then you can get directions on how to get from your starting point to your end point. So figuring out where are we now between diagnostic tests that we do, questionnaires, information, surveys, all that good stuff. And then where do we want to be based on our goals? And that's where we can build out the plan to improve our lives. And those goals might look different for everybody, right? And it's also finding sometimes, say I want to lose 60 pounds and get from this percentage to this percentage. That's one measurable, tangible data point we can look at, but it's also finding sometimes the non-scale victories, the non-measurable victories that I think are just as powerful, whether it's how you feel psychologically, like how you feel in an outfit or in your clothes, or how you feel around people, the confidence or the example you're setting for your family or for your kids. All those pieces are such a huge component to improving your life that I also like to highlight, because sometimes I think it's hard when you put so much weight into getting results on the scale or whatever that looks like, that the intangibles get left behind, and they're just as important. So finding ways to improve your life and look at the improvement that you've made is just as important. Like look back 6 months from now. Have you improved? Like that's what I love doing. I like looking at 6 months where I go, whether it was business-wise, financially, personally, health-wise, like did I improve? And it doesn't matter if it's yes or no in the sense of like, I'm going to judge myself, but it's being honest, transparent, and brutally honest to make a change. Because if it's not working, why am I going to keep doing it? And if it's not working and I'm okay with it not working, that's a different story. And I got to reevaluate my goals and what my habits are going to look like and how do I want to align that. But if it's not aligning with my goals and it's not working, I need to make a change, and I need to know that so I can make a change, whether it's talking to my coach. I still have my own coaching team. I hope you know that. Like I use our products and our services to the point where like I use our own team because I believe in it so much. And I know it changes my life. I know it's going to change your life. So that's kind of the 3 pillars to life of a fighter: of educate, inspire, improve, where they fit in. And I wanted to take this because I know I was actually, I made a post today. When you guys see this podcast, at least when I put it out on social media, you're going to see the post on social media and on Instagram about one of my clients that I used to work with back in New York. And since I've left, we just stay in touch. And he's actually in LA right now, California. And just post like, hey, you know what? Like, even though we don't talk all the time, like I see your social media, I see what you're putting out, and it inspired me to take action. And because the education that we've built throughout our experience together and the inspiration he just got, he was able to improve his life and lost 20 pounds in that time, and knows like, hey, I'm never going to go back to that weight again because of the action that I took and how I felt. So that's what it's all about, y'all. And that's the reason I wanted to share this with you guys. Is I put out as much, because we have like 500 articles, videos, and all that stuff on the blog that most of you don't even know how to access, because I've done a poor job. My team's done a poor job of making it accessible to you guys, but I'm going to change that, not only starting today, but moving forward. And I wanted to have this video to help you guys understand why I do what I do and why I'm so passionate about what I do and why I'm such a high energy guy. And it looks crazy sometimes, but I love this. Like, this is how we're going to change the world. Like, between my kids, my wife, and the impact we're going to create ourselves, I know we're going to change the world. But then even beyond that, to you guys, you're going to help be a part of that. And that's what I want to do. And that's what I'm here for. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you listening, taking the time for this. Again, check the links below. I have our shop set up. We're constantly working on our new courses we're going to be rolling out. So I'm really excited about that. Social media, I've been trying to up my game and create really valuable content, free resources for you guys, as well as our Fight Light partnership and all the great content we're putting out there with even myself and the coaches we have, more talk shows, more things coming out on that end, just constantly leveling up, y'all. Yeah, I'll check you guys next time on the LOF Fighter podcast. Deuces, y'all.